on lockdown this whole time in Jamaica. We're here at Estate Serenade, which is in Negril. And I can't even express the group of people that I've been in quarantine with. One of them next to me, Eileen McKusick. I was introduced to her biofield tuning. We went to a friend of ours down the street, and she came in with these tuning forks, which she's going to get into. And I have to say that my energy and light was changed by this whole process. And I'm not even going to try and explain it to you. I'm just going to hand it over to you. So what is biofield tuning? How did you get into it? Tell us.
Yeah, great. So I've also been stuck here in Jamaica.
We say that with love.
We're very grateful because it's been, I just heard that it's one of the top 10 places to be stuck, actually, in the world.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear that.
But, being here is actually really good for your biofield, and I'll explain why. So what is a human biofield, and how do you tune it? So the biofield is our body's electrical system. And most of us don't even know that we have an electrical system. Because we think of ourselves chemically and mechanically, so if something goes wrong with us, then, we need to put something in our mouth or have surgery or, something like that. What I've discovered through my research with sound, and I've been bouncing sound off the human body for the last almost 25 years now, just with tuning forks, with simple acoustic tone generators, bouncing sound off people and listening to the ping back. And over decades of doing this, I've made all these really interesting discoveries that I didn't expect to discover. And one of the things that I discovered was the body's electrical system in its entirety. Because a lot of us know that our heart is electric, right? If you get an EKG, that's measuring the electric activity of your heart. Or if you get an EEG, it's measuring the electrical activity of your brain. Most of us know that our blood carries a charge, right? Or, so we're kind of got the bits and pieces of it, but we're not seeing the forest for the trees in this case. Yeah. Because we actually have an electrical system in its entirety. And our whole body runs on electric juice. When you're alive and your light is on, your electric system is present. And when you die and your light goes out, your body's still there, but what's not there anymore?
Yeah.
Your light, right? Your electric body.
And I think we, even just as people speak nowadays, is that we talk so much about energy, and it is a real thing, it is flowing through us. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all intuitively know, that this is going on. And what I found, I think it's the same thing that spirituality or religion calls our soul, our electric body. If you watch a soul singer who's really fiery, you can feel that fire, right? She's singing from her fiery soul, right? Yeah. And so that, we've gotten into these words, we, put that in the realm of religion, but the scientific word for it is biofield. And, it's understood to be the electric system. So anything that has an electric current running through it, and the human body has an electric current in your bones, in your blood, in your muscles, in your fascia, in your collagen, everything is conducting electricity in your whole body. It's really the primary way that everything stays organized is through light signaling. And this is also really primary for our health, right? So I talk about a thing that I call electric health, which is the discovery that we can use sound to get the noise and resistance out of our electrical system so that it flows and that it's in harmony. It's like tuning an instrument that's out of tune. As human bodies, when I draw a tuning fork in close to you and find an area where there's noise or resistance in the signal, I can hear it, you can hear it, right? You've had that experience. And your body hears it. And your body goes, wow, I sound really out of tune. And your body does this amazing thing where it auto-tunes. Yeah. And it will relax and shift and move around. You might take a big breath. And now all of a sudden that spot, you breathe out, you kind of let whatever tension you were holding in that part of your flow, and you just let it go. And all of a sudden that part of you that was flat or sharp or full of static is now in tune. And so the more we get tuned, the more in tune we become, the more our electric health improves, because our voltage and our clarity both go up.
So, tuning forks.
Yeah.
Tell us about the tuning forks.
Good.
Yeah,
So
but-
I just have one with me right
Okay.
now. This is we have tuning forks of two kinds. We have ones that make sound, like the ones that you would use to tune a piano, right? Or a doctor might use to test your hearing. And then this kind is called a weighted tuning fork. So it's got barrels on the end, and it's designed that when you activate it and put it on the body, the vibration goes into the body. So you don't hear it, but you feel it. I invented this boot that goes on the bottom and invented this frequency, which is 93.96 hertz. And that is based on the Earth's natural electric pulse of 7.83 hertz. So that's the background sort of electromagnetic pulse that your pineal gland picks up.
And that's actually why I like to
Put it right there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so this is 7.83 times 12. So it informs your electric body with this fundamental frequency of nature that the body actually requires. And you can do a bunch of different things with it. You can hold it on yourself and just let it vibrate your bones, and that feels really good and make you relax and take a breath. You can slide it on you, anywhere you want, slide it on your body. I've been doing this for years now, and actually all the sliding that I've been doing has made me really tone. I've been putting tone in for years, 5 to 10 minutes a day. That's it.
And I've been doing that as well.
Yeah, and you've been noticing a difference
5
too.
minutes just as I'm sitting on bed, and I'll just it's almost like a massager at the same time. But it feels, I almost feel like I've depuffed a little bit. If that.
Yeah, because it
would be a
improves
good
lymph
word,
flow.
yeah.
I depuffed too, because
Yeah.
I was pretty puffy.
Yeah.
I actually lost 15 pounds in 5 weeks when I started using this. It's not normal.
No.
It's not normal. I'm an outlier. Some people do lose a bunch, but more people, it's sort of slow and gradual. And it sort of sculpts you. It gets rid of cellulite. It gets your deep muscles to be firing.
Yeah.
Like my deep core muscles were always kind of like doughy, and my brain wasn't connected to them. But since I started, using this on my belly, I feel like, wow, I can feel those muscles from the inside out now. And you can do this. You can actually give yourself abdominal muscles while watching Netflix and using this. I'm not kidding.
I have been doing that.
It's a great quarantine tool.
It's honestly, it's working.
Yeah.
So when everybody sees me when I get back, I'll be living proof.
But you can also use it on friends and family too. So like if you've got a sore shoulder, I can come in here and I put the sound in. It's a great tool for massage therapists to use too. And it makes you take a breath. Like I feel like you need to take a breath there, Christina. You too.
Always.
Right? We all need to breathe more. This is the secret to electric health, is really breathing.
And this part here, which
Yeah.
you've explained to me, is our emotional bouncer.
Yeah, you want me to explain that?
A little bit.
Well, if you or anyone has like a lump, the granny hump, I think that they're called.
Yeah.
They occur in different degrees, right? Little ones or big ones. What I've discovered is that when we experience an emotion, it's a waveform that goes through us, but it also generates chemistry on its way. And so it creates these molecules of emotion that rise up, and there's this that come into our head and like, bing, I feel this way, right? But a lot of us have been taught to suppress emotion.
Yeah.
And to be good or to be nice or polite, or we hold back a lot of. We might not even let ourselves feel the fact that we're angry. I think that happens to some people.
Yeah.
And so what happens is you have like this bouncer in an exclusive club that hangs out at the base of your neck, and he, any molecules that show up that are like rage or anger or jealousy or despair, whatever we censor, we're like, oh, I don't feel that. Oh, that's not spiritual. Oh, I can't handle that, or it will overwhelm me. There's many things that we hold back. They pile up.
Yeah.
They pile up. So the key, I think one of the biggest keys, there's 2 keys to electric health, and that is breath.
Yep.
And allowing your emotions to flow. Because when we hold back emotions, we create resistance in our electrical current. And that lowers our voltage. And the lower our voltage goes, the poorer our health becomes, because there isn't enough electric current in your inner system for everything to work. But as soon as you get your inner battery up to like 90 or 100, which is easy to do here in Jamaica, and this is a big reason why I'm very grateful to be here, is that we've been able to go to the ocean, we've been able to eat fruit and lots of good local food, right? All the things that really nourish our electric bodies, being by water, having feet in the sand, listening to great music, because Jamaica's full of great music.
What inspired this whole conversation was because as we were speaking the other week is that Your practice, you and your practitioners are primarily one-on-one sessions, and I know you were completely against doing this whole online world. So I know you're going through a giant pivot right now and remodeling the whole business and really making sure that the quality of what you do is able to translate. So I just wanted you to touch on that and like really what you're doing and how you're doing this big pivot, as I constantly like to say.
I'm doing something that I thought was impossible. And I think a lot of people are. You know, I think a lot of us have been forced to reconsider, right, what's possible, faced with the drastic changes in the world at the moment. So I started teaching this method in 2010, and it was just me teaching people. And over the years, I've taught teachers. I now have 18 teachers and over 2,000 students and practitioners worldwide, doing this sound therapy method that, you know, mostly is conducted on the body. And then we were teaching classes. Obviously, we were flying people to certain, you know, cities, and they were staying in hotels, and we were gathering in classes. And people asked me for years if I could teach it online. And I always said, you know, absolutely not, because there's a person-to-person, like in-person transmission that happens that I think is vital, and I don't believe can be communicated, you know, online. And so I always said no. And then this forced us to reconsider it. You know, we had to shut down classes March, April, May, June, you know, and this is a big part of what we do is go out and teach. And so we immediately got on asking the question, is it possible? You know, my core team went into a development project with this. First, you know, having our minds open, like maybe it is possible, maybe we can do this. And we started to experiment with it, and we just, lo and behold, we discovered that we could. And we discovered that we could. And it's actually a much better business model, like all around, you know, a lot less airplane tickets and things like that. And we can reach people who wouldn't be able to come to a class. So we've opened up the market, we've reduced costs, and we've created something fun to create. You know, just the whole process of working together as a team to create this and to sort of manage this pivot has been a growth edge for everybody as well. So it's been a useful thing to do. You know, we're grateful.
So the way that you're responding to this now is night and day to how you were responding it even a few weeks ago. So, and I can tell that was, you know, a really emotional thing for you to have to change like that. So, and I kind of want to touch on that because, you know, I think a lot of people are going through these changes that they were forced into, and maybe not processing it very well. So, you know, with that anxiety, it's just like we get this wall in front of us where you know, our energy, you know, as you realign for us, it really kind of gets all scattered and all over the place. And really what we have to do is get over that hump and really like kind of push through that. So doing what you do, is there something that we can do ourselves that helps kind of realign that and kind of give that outlook of how you're reacting to things now with
being able to see the solution.
Yeah,
I think that there's a few things that I can say around that. One is that when we're afraid, you know, when we start to get stressed and afraid, our electromagnetic field starts to jiggle. And then that makes it really hard for us to see clearly. Because there's all this interference in the way, right? So just understanding that it's very hard to see what needs to be done if you are in an agitated state. So, you know, the first thing you want to do is figure out how to breathe and settle down and bring yourself into this moment. Right? That go outside and listen to the birds. Like, that's one of the best things you can do. Put bare feet on the ground, breathe into your belly, exhale down out your feet, and just come into this, you know, into now. Because this is, you know, now is usually okay. But in order to see opportunities, right, in chaos, right? Because it's chaos, opportunity, kind of the same thing. If we're in fear, we're just going to see chaos. If we're clear and we're like what you said, like we're kind of over the hump of that, then we start to see all kinds of opportunities. But you have to believe that it's possible, right? To solve any problem. Like, I didn't believe it was possible to do these distance classes. And as a consequence, I shut myself off from the opportunity to be having a better business model, all along. And I was doing it the hard way because I didn't believe it was possible to do it the easier way.
Right.
And how many of us do that in our lives,
All
right?
the time.
So I want to share with you this 5 steps to solving any problem.
Okay.
So that I've
Hit me.
come up with. Okay. 5 steps. This is very valuable information. 5 steps to solving any problem. So the first thing that you do is you identify the problem. Whatever the problem is. So think of a problem that you haven't been able to solve, and it can be any kind of problem. And maybe specifically related to this sort of pivot thing, this adapting thing that we've been talking about. And so you name it. So the next thing you do is you ask yourself if you believe it's possible to solve this problem. Do I believe it's possible to solve this problem? And then see what comes up inside. And very often there's some little voice and some tension in your body that goes, no.
That says no. And
That
that's
says
usually
no.
the first voice that comes up. It's like, no.
Right? So if you haven't been able to solve a problem, the reason why is because you don't believe it's possible. Subconsciously, you don't believe it's possible, so you're not being successful. Okay? So the thing that you do with that is you say to yourself, I believe it's possible to solve this problem. And then you kind of notice all the places in your body that's disagreeing, and then you just kind of hang out with them.
Yeah. It's almost like repeating it over and
Yeah,
over
and you
again
just kind of
until you-
stay with the discomfort wherever it arises until you can finally say, I believe it's possible to solve this problem, and it sounds and feels true, and none of that comes up, right? Okay, so the next part of it is that you have to desire it with all your heart. You got to be fully on board 100% to desire it, as long as you got that light up, okay? The next thing is that you believe that the resources that you need to solve the problem are at hand. I believe the resources I need to solve this problem are at hand. And they might be something outside of you, or it might be resources inside of you that you need to dig a little deeper to get to, but they're there.
Right.
Right?
Right. Whether it's in yourself or within your network or
Exactly.
something you have to reevaluate.
You gotta identify where the resource. Sometimes it's like right next to you, and it's been there all along, but you didn't see it because you didn't believe it.
Right. And because that voice is saying no,
That's right.
you're not looking maybe to your left or your right.
That's right.
Yeah.
So you locate the resources and then you implement them and you solve the problem and you move on. And success in life is really about solving the problem. Life is full of problems. And a lot of people get stuck in the fear. They get stuck in the problem. They get stuck in the drama. And then as a consequence, they're not clearly seeing the solution that's right at hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. So believe that you're a resourceful person. Believe that the resources are at hand. And locate them and implement. Just get on it. You can stay in this and you can kerfluffle around in that, but it's honestly a huge waste of time.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it's just don't be afraid. Swim in the fear and become friends with it.
Yeah. I mean,
Almost, and
if you think that if you're waiting for the fear to go away before you take a risk, you'll never take a risk. Because the biggest risks that come with the biggest rewards, you're terrified when you make those risks. Maybe not terrified, but somewhere on that spectrum, you're like, oh, I'm a little nervous. And that's okay. You feel the fear and you do it anyway. And then you discover that it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be.
Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you. And we could talk forever about this, but the full interview will be on Thrive Global with Eileen. You can get more information there. Also more information on Estate Serenade, where we are right now. And
more information on biofield tuning.
And biofield tuning, yes, sorry. Of course, I said Eileen, that's it. But everything will be there. And again, I want to thank you again for your magic and just having the pleasure of being with you all this time. And
thanks, Christina. Awesome.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.